All right, halftime here in McEwen. And St. Mary's leading San Jose State 43-40. The Gales shooting 60% here. But San Jose State really taking it to St. Mary's. They've shot 11 free throws there in the first half. They're 46% from the floor. They got 2 in double figures. Gales, of course, Landale with 12 to lead the way. Alex Jensen back courtside here in McEwen Pavilion. We've got a special guest. We kind of teased this before the break. We're lucky enough to be joined by Stephen Holt, former St. Mary's Gale. Holt, nice to have you back, man.
Hey, Alex, thanks for having me. It's great to be back. Yes, sir.
It is my pleasure. And so you're making the quick stop here from Spain. You explained to me during the break some visa issues, perhaps.
Yeah. What do you call it? I have a bye this week, so I don't have a game. So the team flew me back to San Francisco just for the day for my appointment to pick up a Spanish visa. It's something I couldn't get before I went out to Spain to start the season. We're already 3 months into the season, and they told me when I was on my break or on our bye week that I have to come to San Francisco get my visa. And once I got it, I have to fly back. And it's crazy timing that on my day to come to San Francisco, the Gales play at home, and it's Thanksgiving week, so I'll be able to see my family. So I'm definitely blessed right now.
Couldn't ask, and you don't have to foot the bill for the price, the plane ticket rather, going back and forth halfway across the globe.
It's on my club's tab, so it's all good.
There you go. Well, hey, so before we get to what you've been up to lately, what are you seeing so far in this one? Now, St. Mary's shooting at 60% here, but boy, San Jose State, they're kind of taking it to the Gales a little bit here.
Yeah, they're hanging in there because we're not getting stops defensively. I know I've been in that locker room before. I know Coach B's he's preaching defense right now. They need to get stops, and once they get stops, rebound the basketball. And I think they're best in transition and in fast break and shooting threes and just getting up and down. And they've been very efficient offensively, like the stats say. It just comes down to the defensive end in the second half.
So do you get to follow the Gales much when you're overseas, or is that kind of like a – of course you can always listen on TuneIn Radio, but as far as viewing goes?
Yes. I watched the first half. I was able to catch the first half of the Dayton game. Anytime, when the big games come along, like Gonzaga, BYU, I'll for sure be tuning in no matter what time of the hour it is in Spain. As best I can, I try and tune in on the TV, obviously social media, Twitter. I'm following them all the time, and it's great. I'm finally here. It's my first game back since I graduated. Just to see the fans, familiar faces, it's awesome.
Yeah, you got a nice round of applause here at the first media. So that had to feel pretty special for you. Know that when you come back into the building here, you're always recognized. That's really kind of how the community here at St. Mary's is.
It's very close. From my first visit till now, that's what attracted me to St. Mary's, the community feel. I'm just seeing familiar faces, like I said. And this place will always be a special place in my heart, so I love it here.
Nice seeing your face on the wall over there, too, next to Rob Jones.
Right next to a real good teammate of mine, Rob.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got a nice little left-hand drive going right there, turning the corner.
I know. The scouting report probably says my left hand is weak, but I like my left more than my right. Don't tell anyone that.
So no, we won't let anybody know. Don't worry. We're a long way from Spain anyway.
Yeah, you're right.
So now you started in the D League. I know you got a couple of runs there in the summer league, in the NBA summer league with the Atlanta Hawks. Was it both years or was it just the 1 year?
It was both years. So I was fortunate enough to the Hawks invited me both years. Got a lot of minutes, got a lot of exposure, which translated to real good offers overseas. And going into year 3, I've realized you can't control everything. And for me as a player, being 24, gonna be 25 in a couple of weeks, you just gotta go out, compete, and just let the dice fall where they may. And I'm enjoying my time overseas. And obviously the ultimate goal is to play in the NBA. And if I can't reach that goal, then it's to play in one of the top teams in Europe and just keep progressing on the ladder. So I'm really excited. I'm blessed to be in the position that I'm in, and I'm having fun.
Now, the club you're playing for now in Spain is called, what is the club you're playing for called, and how can the folks follow you? And also kind of explain the leagues out there. Like, I know there's a top tier, kind of a second tier, a third tier. Explain that whole deal. Yeah,
so overseas, so I'm in the top division in Spain. It's known as ACB or Liga Endesa. It's the same teams as Real Madrid, FC Barcelona, so all the big-name soccer teams, they have basketball teams out there. So I'm in that top league. My team name is Tecniconta Zaragoza. Zaragoza is a main city over in Spain, just like Barcelona, Malaga, Madrid, you name it. It's an awesome city to live in.
I bet. It's
beautiful. So, but yeah, no, it's a great league. It's known as one of the top 2 leagues in all of Europe. So I'm blessed to be in that situation, that place, in my 3rd year in my career. And the next step for me is to get onto a EuroLeague or Euro Cup team, which also they play 2 games a week, so they play against the other best teams in all of Europe, so it's not just Spain. So for my season right now, I'm just playing Spanish teams, but the next level is EuroLeague, so we'll be playing the top teams in Greece, Italy, you name it. It's just one league, so I'm just trying to progress, climb the ladder, and just have fun with this thing.
We're talking to former Gale Stephen Holt here at halftime of 43-40 St. Mary's lead over San Jose State. Now, you did spend a year in the D-League with the Canton Charge in the Cleveland organization before making the trip down under to Australia, and I'm sure you saw a lot of familiar faces there. But with Cleveland, obviously Delhi was on the big team. That was really fun for St. Mary's fans, seeing both you and Delhi in the same organization, just like old times here. What was the whole D-League experience like?
The D-League, it taught me a lot. Just even backed up a little bit more, just having that experience, being in training camp with the Cavs, and even better is having a familiar face in Delhi, just leading the way for me if I had any questions, just showing me the ropes. And he's just always been a great leader and good mentor, so that made it easy for me to, in training camp with the Cavs, and ultimately, I got cut and sent down to the D-League. But the D-League taught me that you have to grind every single day.
Yep. Nothing's
given to you. You have to create your own opportunities, and obviously you want to get called up into the NBA, and that's everyone's goal. But sometimes you just got to grind it out and just get better as a player. And who knows down the road? Think everything happens for a reason. I believe in that, and maybe that experience, me when I was 21, 22. I mean, probably like 22, 23, going through that will help me out in the longer run. So we'll never know. But I'm just having fun with this, playing basketball. I was gonna play it as long as I can, and like I said, I'm loving the overseas life right now. And then down under, I'm sure you played against a lot of familiar faces down there as well. Oh man, I loved Australia. Australia is a beautiful country, and it's just so funny how we have the Australian pipeline come to St. Mary's, and then I get the privilege of going out to their country and get to play in their professional league. So Melbourne was a great city. I got to play against former Gales like Mitchell Young, Clint Steindl, Omar Samhan was in there for a little bit. I mean, Matt Hodgson, like you name it. Like there's a bunch of Gales down under and stuff, and it was good getting to assimilate into their culture. And since you only hear about it from here, but to actually physically live it and be out there is awesome. I enjoyed my time, 100%.
No question about it. Well, Stephen, we appreciate your time. So, by the way, Bob Barry wants me to remind you to always pay your Spanish taxes.
Oh yeah.
I guess bad things could happen.
Shout out Bob Barry, man. He's my guy, but I've been doing my thing though. I've been doing everything that club's been telling me to do. It's on the club's fault that they didn't have me get my visa before I came out to Spain. That's why I'm here now. But I'll leave it to the club to pay my taxes. It's not my job. My job's to get buckets.
Man, I need that gig. I need someone to pay my taxes too. You got it easy, man. Well, hey, Steve, we really appreciate catching up with you. Whenever you're back in town, you got an open seat right here, and
that's good.
Best of luck coming again this year.
I appreciate it, Alex. Let's get this dub.
Stephen Holt joining us at halftime. And switch over to TuneIn Radio on the St. Mary's IMG Sports Network for our post-game show, which continues now as we welcome in Joe Rahon. Joe. Hey, listen, they gave you all you could handle tonight. They came at you with energy there in the first half. Kind of sum up that first half for me. I know you guys didn't defend the way you wanted to.
Yeah, defensively was the biggest thing we talked about at halftime. We talked about it before the game too, and sometimes it's just one of those days where you come out and the other team makes shots early and gets going. I think number 32 for them had like 13 of their first 17.
Yeah.
So they're good players. Guy can get going, and it's hard to slow him down. I thought Kyle Clark did a great job from that point forward, guarding number 32. And, we just talked at halftime about locking in defensively, playing with more energy. And we were able to come out in the second half and hold them to a better number. Because offensively, we scored 43 in the first half, so it's nothing to complain about. But you
shot 60% too.
Yeah, you can't give up 40 at home to anybody. It doesn't matter who you're playing. You give up 40 and a half at home, and they're going to be in the game. So it's just something we can learn from. And I thought we had a really good response in the second half defensively, and that's what won us the game.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you certainly responded there in the second half, holding him to just 24 points. And you mentioned Kyle Clark. He holds Wellage to just 2 of 10 down the stretch there, I think, after those first opening minutes. So, I mean, he really got the Spartans going, and then they play with some energy. But that was the key defensive effort there, as you mentioned, from Kyle Clark. And then you guys kind of fed the defense into offense there in the second half.
Yeah, definitely. That kid came out. We knew he could shoot. and he made shots. He's a good player. He came out and made shots, and then I think number 25 got going at the end of the half for him. But I thought Jock Landale and Jordy Hunter did a really good job on number 15. He came in. I think he was their leading scorer, and they did a really good job on him that whole game. And yeah, we were able to fight it out. That's kind of what we're all about. You kind of scrap it out. It may not be pretty all the time, but we hang our hat on the defensive end. So it was good for us to be able to come out in that second half, hold them to 24, and get a nice solid win.
Joe Rahon, our Crown Plaza Concord player of the game. Yeah, you talked about that. I mean, and really a big part of what you guys do, especially when you have a big who's one of their main cogs there, you're able to kind of wear him down with your attack inside, and Jock Landale eventually wore him down with some foul trouble. He picked up the technical as well, which was big. And, boy, getting him off the floor and then, again, picking up right where you left off. Let's go to the offensive side of the ball. Again, they played with a lot of energy there in the first half, forced some turnovers. What was the adjustment there? Again, you say you played pretty well offensively in the first half, which you did, but all night, what were you able to see? What were they giving you?
Yeah, it was an adjustment because we kind of came out early, and they have a coach over there that used to be here, so we know him pretty well. Yeah, T.O. So he probably had those guys ready for what we like to do. So me and Emma had a talk about probably 10, 12 minutes into the half of, hey, they're just taking away the roll. They know we like to give it to the roll man and look for our big a lot, and they took it away. So that's a little adjustment we had to make where extra pass, skip pass, those were open, and we felt like we got really good shots in the first half. We scored 43, and we felt like we missed some open threes that we'll normally make with our great shooters that we have. So we weren't that worried about it at the half offensively, and we just knew if we kept taking care of the ball and kept getting good shots, that law of averages will play out in our favor. And then we did want to focus more in the second half of getting Jock going. We didn't think they had an answer for him. He's been playing so well. So we were able to get him going. He obviously finished with, 24? So yeah, it was a really good offensive performance we felt throughout once we kind of took care of the ball. And so, yeah, it was a good all-around offensive game. And defensively, we just had a tough first 20 minutes. Yeah,
you mentioned them taking away the roll, and that really – good on you guys for making that adjustment. You only turned it over, I think, twice there in the second half. So you really got back to St. Mary's basketball there in the second half of taking care of the basketball and really getting good shots.
Right, it's something we preach every day.
Yeah.
Every day. So me and Emmett take a lot of pride in it, and our other guards do, and Calvin, Kyle, Fitz, none of those guys really turn it over much. We try to limit ourselves to 10 turnovers or less a game, and we were able to do that tonight. I think we had 8 turnovers, so we checked that box, accomplished that goal, so that was good. So, yeah, we think with the amount of offensive players we have that can put the ball in the basket, if we get shots, there's a good chance that they'll go in and we'll be able to find a rhythm. So taking care of the ball is a big focus for us every game.
That 18-2 run you guys had kind of sparked by that technical foul on Clark. Boy, you took that and just ran with it. And you really worked in some open shots there as Steph came off the bench, hit a couple of big threes. You had a 2 in there as well. But, boy, once you got that 7-point cushion after that technical, you really put your foot on the accelerator.
Yeah, that's definitely something we worked on. It's something we talked about coming out of a huddle. I think it was out of a timeout. We were up 7, and we were able to push it. And Steph, guy's a ridiculous shooter, so if you can get him a look.
I love his energy off the bench,
too. He's great. He's great. He's big time. And he missed 2 in the first half that we were halfway down and didn't go in. And you just tell a guy like that to just keep on shooting. So he comes out in the second half, and he was a huge part of that big run we had to kind of push the lead. And that's another thing nice about our team. We got guys that can come off the bench if we need a spark plug and get us going. So he's definitely one of our main guys to do that. And, yeah, he was great tonight.
And a nice night for yourself, Joe. The 8 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. Our Crown Plaza player of the game, Crown Plaza Concord, the hotel choice for St. Mary's Athletics. Joe, thanks for joining us, man. We'll see you on, what is it, Friday?
Yeah. Sunday.
Well, Sunday. We're flying out on Friday, though. Is that right?
I'll see you Friday.
Yeah, you'll see me on Friday. You'll see everybody else on Sunday.
See you guys Sunday.
Joe, thanks a lot. That's Joe Rahon, our Crown Plaza player of the game. Again, he has a nice night controlling the tempo for St. Mary's. 8 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, just the 2 turnovers for Rahon. And he was 4 of 8 from the floor in 36 minutes. Now let's hear from the coach, brought to you by Shamrock Office Solutions, proud partner of St. Mary's Athletics. Marty Clark joins us, and boy, you really turned things around there after halftime. Defensive effort, I'm sure not what you wanted to see. They really kind of took it to you there in the first half a little bit.
Yeah, they did. We I don't know, we came a little bit flat defensively, and I mean they found it. They found something that worked, and they stuck with it. And Wellage had a bunch in the first quarter. We ended up getting him under control, and I think he only had another 3 points for the game. But it's not a good habit to get into, to let guys and not being able to make the adjustment on the run. But yeah, it wasn't just him. It was inside. I mean, I think they were 46.5% in the first half, probably higher than that in the first quarter. And really, it was disappointing that we couldn't continue our defensive effort from Dayton, which was outstanding. So.
Right. Well, and they got you in the paint tonight too. Yep. I mean, a lot of that was the dribble drives, and I think you got to give them a little bit of credit too, right? I mean, because they play, like you said before the game, they play with a tremendous amount of energy, and when you just get that going, you can certainly play above yourself sometimes. Not saying that's what they were doing in the first half, but it makes them really tough to separate from.
Yeah, and we knew that. We knew that that's the game style, is to come down and attack early and attack once and attack twice. And we didn't. They didn't have to attack 2 or 3 times. They usually got us on the first penetration, and we could do a better job of staying in front of the ball and just sitting down, sliding our feet rather than reaching with our hands. But as I said before the game, they're a good team. They're a much improved team, and they'll continue to improve. And I think they'll surprise some people in the Mountain West.
Joe talked about their kind of game plan, taking away that role on the offensive side for you guys. How do you think your team adjusted to that after they came away with a couple turnovers? I think there were 6 in the first half, just 2 in the second half, if I'm remembering right. But how'd you think your guards in particular adjusted to what they were doing on the pick and roll? Yeah,
well, we threw some straight to him, and we actually tried to throw it over Clark, who's a good athlete, and he got hands on a couple of them. Really, the second half was more about not going straight to the pick and roll, get some action in front of it, maybe penetration, throw it out, throw it on, and then get into it. So just trying to shift their help defenders around so that they get a little bit confused about who's meant to be helping, and that kind of showed in the second half. I mean, Jock got a nice dunk, and he got a couple of nice, actually had some really nice catches, to be honest. Went up there and got it and had some scores, and I think that's the way we have to play. We're not athletic enough to just come straight down and get right to what we want. We've got to put a disguise in front of it, and I thought we did a much better job in the second half.
Jock was a handful for them, and it really wore on them down the stretch there as Clark picked up the third foul and then the technical, which was a big point in the game, obviously, because not only is that sending you to the line for 4 free throws, he has to come off now, and then now you've got your foot on the accelerator, and you really started to get into a rhythm. Steph Gonzalez gave you a great amount of energy there in that run. His roll off the bench is huge for you.
Yeah, and he plays like that. He got a couple of rebounds, he got a loose ball, he got his hands on one, made a couple of threes, and it changes the game when you can bring a guy in that is just going to play hard. And that's a lot of our guys are playing hard, but they just don't do it for long enough. You've got to play harder for longer. You can't have any gaps in your game where you have a little rest, and that's where you pick up fouls. And we really allowed them in the first half to live at the foul line, and they probably picked up 10 extra points that we really had bad defense more than anything else. And if you can keep teams off the foul line, they've got to make jump shots. That becomes difficult.
And it sounds like that was the difference between the first half and the second half. 10 fouls in the first half, just 6 in half number 2. So, you guys made a much better effort moving their feet.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's and maybe it was – we didn't have a lot of preparation time, obviously, but really once the ball goes up, what's gone before doesn't really have much effect on – it shouldn't have much effect on you. You should be able to sit down and I know what I'm doing. I know if I'm guarding the ball, my job right now is to guard the ball, and that's the only thing I can control at that point in time. And we just didn't have that mindset early on.
Again, you mentioned Kyle Clark, the job you done. I think Wellage was 2 of 10 down the stretch after he started 5 of 5. Again, he fills that nice defensive role for you, and it really, he really locks one position down for you almost. And like you mentioned on the boards, his man never grabs that rebound. Yeah, I mean, I was surprised he didn't, because he seemed to be rebounding more than just his one rebound. But the trade-off is his man never gets it. Right.
He does a really nice job, obviously defensively on the glass, and he allows our offense to keep ticking over. I must say I was a little surprised with the dunk he got. I haven't seen that one before, but it was two hand pin it behind his head and then just ram it on someone.
Well, no one wanted to get in his way either.
No, I'm not sure whether he got a bit of a lift on someone or he just hit a nice soft spot on the floor, but we haven't seen that at practice. So anyway, we'll probably see that a little bit more, hopefully.
Yeah, maybe you get a play there where somebody gets down on all fours and he can catapult off him or something. Yeah, that was impressive to see though, because he took off and no one wanted to get in his way. He had a one one-track mind getting that thing to the rim.
Yeah, no, there was no question once he saw it, he was going right at it, and that's the type of mentality we're trying to get out of him. You know, he's a great guy, really good-hearted person. We need to get a little bit of nasty in him, and hopefully that might be something that sets it off.
Well, so you come out of this one with the win. Now we head on to Las Vegas, again back on the road on Sunday. Have you seen UAB play at all?
Oh, yeah, very talented team.
Yep.
They were...
Played Kansas last night.
Yeah, they were really good after the first... Well, after they were down 25-3. Then they cut that game to 10, and then it ended up being about 15. But they're very athletic. They've got two really athletic bigs, and the bigs play to each other. We haven't really played a team that looks for the roller or looks big to big like these guys will, and their guards are thick and strong, and they're going to be a handful. They're not dissimilar to the Valpo team that we saw in the NIT last year.
Right.
Good athletic bigs and good, strong old guards. They're a really good basketball team.
Yeah, and I know they're picked to win the Conference USA.
Yeah.
They lost their point guard, their starting point at the beginning of the year, but they have some depth.
They have some depth, and they have depth across positions. They've got three good big bigs, as in they're not 6'5" bigs, they're legitimate like 6, 8, 9, 10 bigs. There's three of them, and there's at least four guards that I think are very good, and they've got another shooter that comes off the bench as well. So yeah, they'll be a handful. They're well coached. They run they run a disciplined style of offense, and they try and score the way they want to score. And it's going to be a big task for us to head to Vegas and do well against them.
Well, this one, they're never easy, are they?
No.
Especially an opponent out of the Mountain West. But you guys made the adjustments,
Yep.
came out on top. Congratulations on the win. And we'll talk again, I guess, on air on Sunday.
On Sunday. Fantastic. Thanks.
All right. Coach Marty Clark on our Let's Hear from the Coach segment. Brought to you by Shamrock Office Solutions, delivering digital copier and technology solutions to the Bay Area for over 15 years. Visit them online at shamrockoffice.com.